play this record as frequently as possible.
Welcome to another episode of Hard Hats and Hootenannies. Long day today, tell you what. I started the morning tired as fuck. Drove my ass to work, and let me tell you, it got me really, really thinking of quiet quitting. Quiet quitting, like, I actually looked up the definition before starting this podcast, and it's when employees continue to put in the minimum amount of effort to keep their jobs but don't go the extra mile for their employer. That's me. I've been doing that for years. But why is it a thing now? I literally drive to work. I do the minimal effort needed. I do absolutely no excessive work, and I do not go out of my way to do anything. Well, that's not entirely true. I do here and there sometimes do that. But man, it gets me really thinking about like why I work. When I see all these younger people working, like what I want to do, making literally what I make in some cases a day. So hear me out. This is what I think is wrong with today's workforce and why quiet quitting is a little more prominent than normal. Excuse me, I just spit my chew. Lots of people watch Instagram videos at lunch. Nobody really talks. Here and there we do talk with the boys at work. A lot of people watch videos and they see they watch videos that make them feel good. So what makes me feel good is watching hilarious videos, and then I see like younger people making these hilarious videos, pranks and shit like that, and that looks fun. I want to do that. And then I see, oh look, they got like over 100,000 subscribers. Like they're probably making my paycheck in a day or two. And that makes me sad. And it makes me want to do that. So, of course, other people are probably thinking the same thing. They look at all these people making money doing literally not much. Way more than they'll make. And then they just decide, you know what? I'm just going to do the minimum effort because I'm getting paid shitty. You know, I'm not getting paid shitty, but like compared to these guys and girls, fuck. It's just ridiculous, man. Like, I don't want to sound like a fucking loser, but I guess I kind of do right now. And even like me starting this podcast, like I like doing this for fun. Would I like it to take off? Sure. Who wouldn't? So today I was hoping to have a guest, but he flaked on me. And to each their own, but disappointing. Very disappointing. I hope you're listening. Anyways. Oh, fuck. What a day. Woke up with a little tingle in my throat too, which is never fun. I guess we discussed about going to work sick last episode. I definitely went into work today a little sick. Not real. Well, little tingle in the throat. I don't consider that sick, but the old lady definitely got it worse than me. You know how you prevent sickness? You drink Listerine. That's literally the way to do it. That's what my dad taught me. You just drink a little Listerine. You're good to go. He never gets sick. I haven't seen my dad with a cold or anything bad in forever. And what I mean by drinking Listerine, I mean don't go full out, get drunk off of the shit. When you swish it in your fucking mouth, spit it out, but you have a little bit left in your throat, don't spit it out again, just swallow it. It's not like you're drinking it. It's not bad for you. It's burning 99.9% of bacteria in your throat. Well, to me, that sounds like almost 100% killing of any flu or virus. So why do you need a vaccine? You got Listerine. It's on the shelf, $9.99. $9.99. I got fucking ripped off today. $50 at Shoppers Drug Mart. What fucking bullshit is that? I literally went to Shoppers needing Listerine and paid $9.99 full price. Wasn't even on sale. Bought a couple other things. Came with the $50 fucking dollars. I bought shampoo. It said it was on sale. It wasn't. Ridiculous, man. I swear all my money's going like just dumb stuff. Like I spend a lot of money on stuff that I probably shouldn't spend on. Like literally buy stuff for I don't really need it. I just want it. And then I wonder why I can't save money. Just like trying to save for a house here in Canada is just ridiculous, man. You can't work enough. Like I literally don't make enough to buy a house on my own. The old lady makes okay money. Add it together, it's still not enough. And then that brings me back to why I see all these rich kids having fun, jealous as fuck, and they're buying mansions out of hand. I can't even afford a $200,000 home, let alone what they buy. Absolutely nuts here in Canada. It's just ridiculous. Oh, what a day. So I guess we'll go back to the subject at hand. The whole point of the podcast is all work shit. Basically, work was just a big, boring mess. Nothing too exciting. Nothing crazy to report on anyway. Not moving up. That's what's happening. Probably never will. I don't know if anyone else's companies are like that. Just, even like I talked about myself being a quiet quitter. Even if I were to go the extra mile, it's not like I really get recognized. Like, there's no point in doing it. Like, I don't know what to say about it. Like, I want to move up, but make more money. It doesn't really matter. I'm sure other companies are like that, like where like people try super hard and then they just keep you in one spot. Then you don't go anywhere, and then they expect you to just work in the same position and not move up, I guess, and forever. That's just not what I saw my life being. Let's change the tune. That's a little sad shit. No one wants to hear this sad shit. It's like, oh, you're a big pussy. Yeah, maybe I am. But it's not like I want to be it. It's just a fact of life that it sucks cock to work. And yeah, if I don't have to work, or work as minimal as possible and just go home and spend my paychecks however I want. Yeah, whatever. So maybe I'll tell you guys a couple of stories from my previous jobs. Let me think. So the one I ripped my fingernail out with a pair of pliers. That was kind of hurt. That's a quick one. I'll tell that one. So as a mechanic, you hit your hands here and there, and you fuck around, accidentally hit yourself. It's a fact of life. I've lost every single fingernail on every hand at least once. And this one in particular, I mushed it. I can't remember how I did, but it was really bad. But it didn't hurt at all, so I didn't really think too much of it. I drove to work that day looking like a beauty, by the way. Cowboy boots, pants tucked into the cowboy boots, shitty mullet, big Oakleys, looking like a fucking loser, but I felt sick. Actually, I might have been wearing Pit Vipers. I can't remember. It was quite a while ago. Walked in, and then I noticed, I put my hand on the table. I must have caught something on that specific fingernail, and then it felt funny. I was like, what the fuck? So I looked at my hand. My fingernail was literally pointing straight up, like 90 degrees from my finger. So, like, oh, that's curious. So I went and got changed, came back down, went to my toolbox. I grabbed a pair, like, I just tried to pick it with my hand, and it was like, fuck, this is in there pretty good. Like, I couldn't get it, so I grabbed a pair of, like, needle nose pliers. And I fucking grabbed on it, started pulling. It wasn't coming out. I was like, okay, what is going on here? I fucking really yoinked on her. And like, I am not shitting you, like maybe a 1/4 inch under the skin. That's how long your fingernail goes into your skin. And I was fucking disgusted. And then my hand felt like there's like a hole in my finger. And I was like, holy fuck, this has like never happened to me before in my life. So yeah, that was, I guess, one story. It's pretty fucking weird. That job that I was at, though, that job was fucking poop. That job I didn't really get. That was a job that I definitely quit. Like, I was getting paid, like, what seems like an attractive number. I think I was getting like 34, 50, 35, somewhere in there. But getting paid every 2 weeks. You know, I don't know how people get paid every 2 weeks. I cannot. That is, like, I spend too much money to get paid every 2 weeks. Like, I was broke all the time. And I remember I lived about 45 minutes from work. So my commute, and I drove a Dodge diesel all the way every day. So I guess it would be like $100K a day, thereabouts. You know, paying for the fuel and that piece of shit, and then getting to work and then having no money. My bank was in the negatives, let me tell you. I had zero money at all times, but I still look sick. Driving a Dodge, dirty cowboy boots. I even kicked shit with those cowboy boots to break them in. I went to a buddy's farm and stepped right in some cow shit and kicked it. Like what every person should do when they get a fresh pair. And I can't even remember the pair name. Some off-brand name that I got at Canadian Boot Warehouse somewhere. Yeah, but they lasted not long. Like, they weren't the best quality, but now I have an awesome set. Fresh Ariats, steel toe, red design logos and shit all over the place. Those are my favorite pair. I use them for work too, and we have this stupid boot thing policy at work where it has to be lace up 6-inch. That's just the worst. Like, just let me wear a pair of steel toes. Like, what does it matter? I work in a shop. Like, why do I need lace up? Ridiculous. So, back to my job that I worked. The work was okay. I worked with a foreman. He looked like a literal thumb. And he was actually a pretty cool guy. I got along with him, but literally everyone smoked, and I felt out of place. Because everyone there was friends, and I just kind of just did work and not really cared. And I didn't smoke cigarettes with them at breaks and stuff. I actually just went to the break room and played on my phone. I was the only one there that chewed tobacco. Like, nobody does that anymore. Like, how come? I guess it's because it's pretty expensive. Like, I just bought a tin today, $35. But I could go on about the chewing tobacco situation. Like, I've been chewing for many years, and it used to be 20 a tin, and I'm sure guys older than me remember it being cheaper. But $35, no flavors, boring. Why can't we just be like the States? Like, I want to go to the gas station and pay $3 for a tin, not fucking times that by 10. Anyways, so at this job, I worked the night shift. By night shift, it was more like an evening shift. I was always done at midnight. And it was actually a pretty badass shift. Like, it was pretty lax. I never got pressured. But honestly, like, I got a lot of the shit that the day shift guys got, and it was fucking not good. For example, like, I did one guy came to pick up his truck. All he got was a valve set done. Guy starts his truck and it's clacking away. Like, no valve set was done. So he's pissed. Bring the truck back in. I look at it. This guy who has more experience than me can't even do a valve set correctly. And so I start doing it. And it's like, holy fuck, man. Like, all off. Not good. And I'm just wondering, like, this is the problem with dealerships that have a lot of people. They may not get the best of the best. And that's what I think it is. But what's weird is that they, like, new guys always started at, like, oil changes, except for me. Like, if you were, by new guys, I mean, like, not journeymen. And they just started at oil changes and then get little shitty repairs, kind of make their way up as they get levels. And this guy, I don't know if he started there or what, but yeah, that guy sucked. That and, like, transmissions were the worst. I hated doing safeties. Honestly hated that job. Like, the pay was fucking poop at 2 weeks. It was like $1,500 every 2 weeks somehow, like at $35 an hour. I didn't understand. And yeah, bank account negative. Went back to my other job, weekly pay. That's where it's at. Weekly pay. You get your paycheck every week. You always have money. You never really have to worry. And I love it. I feel like everyone should be on it. And yeah. Oh, ain't it? Enough of the ranting about that fucking shit. Oh, today at work though, pretty spectacular day. Boring. At the end of the day, just I always I always call her a day 2 hours early. I know a lot of people do that. Like, they see the clock, they see it close to the end of the day. By close, I mean couple hours, 2, 3, 4 hours, and they want to call it a day. I do it all the time. And I just sit there on my phone sometimes and diddle away. Maybe I'll tinker a little bit with something of my own projects. Like, I got my truck at work. Got to change the transmission in it. Go figure. Big Dodge diesel. Shitty fucking transmission. What a nightmare. You know what? I'll tell that story. I driving home from work, working in BC. Driving home from work, about 8 hours from home. My truck drive shaft, one of the U-joints, I think it was the cardinal joint, just exploded. Doing about $120. Things just fucking whipping around. Destroyed everything. Pull over. Shrapnel all over the highway. 8 hours from home. Fucked. So what do I do? Well, I have no friends that will come and get me. Call tow trucks. This is the midst of COVID, by the way. Start calling tow trucks to see if I get a tow home. I know it's going to be pricey, but that's just what I have to pay. They won't even go into Manitoba. I'm in the middle of Saskatchewan. And I'm fucking stranded. And there's a storm chasing me. And $600 for an hour tow. Are you kidding me? Rip off. So luckily for me, had a friend, pretty good friend. Did me a mega solid. Him and his stepdad came out, saved my ass. Fuck. Yeah, that was a late night. That was a turn from a 16-hour drive into a 26-hour drive. No. How long? It was 10 hours. Yeah, about 26-hour drive. I got left at 8 in the morning, got home at 9 in the morning. That was a day. Awesome. Yeah, and the truck's never been right since. Sat at a friend's farm for a while. Now I have it at work, ready to go. Well, not really. I have the parts on hand and got to fix it. It's sat for like a couple years, so I got to do a lot of repairs. Don't ever buy a diesel, and specifically an automatic Dodge. Just not a good time. Well, I mean, it was a good time for 3 years, and the thing actually was pretty quick. Smoking Duramaxes. Just a light tune, too. Yeah, well, a mild-built transmission as well. But it got me to and from work. Speaking of which, working in BC, that fucking sucks. Working in BC has to be literally the shittiest thing on the planet. It's maybe fun for like 2 weeks, maybe a month, depends who you are. And then you start to get real tired of it. The scenery just doesn't make up for the long fucking drives you have to make everywhere you go. I'm talking 8 hours anywhere you go. Oh, gotta go. I want to go to the Kamloops. 8 hours. Want to go somewhere else. McBride, 8 hours. It's longer to McBride. It's like fucking 12 hours. Especially in winter. Winter's the worst. If anyone's driven through Rogers Pass in winter, it's the fucking worst. Just a big rant sesh today. I'm hoping to get some people out here on the podcast. But it looks like maybe next week. Maybe one late this week. I'm not sure. A lot of flaky people. Everyone wants to be on the pod until it's time to be on the pod. Like today, like discussed with a guy today that I wanted to do a pod. Just a no-show. But you know what? Like I said earlier, it's not up to me. I can't really be mad. It's up to him. And if he doesn't want to be on the pod, then it's whatever. But next time, don't say you want to be on the pod. Is all I want. Just outright say no thanks. Anyways, I don't know what you guys like doing after a long day of work, but I like computer stuff. If I could work on computers for a job, that would be. I know it's kind of like counter of what I usually, what this whole podcast is about, blue collar shit. But I just like that's like the fun but very expensive hobby. Like I've built at least 3 PCs by now. And it's just something I like doing. It's that and Lego. Don't call me gay, but I like Lego. Lego is something that everyone should do. It takes you a couple days. You buy a piece of a Lego set that's pretty big. Takes you a couple days, and it's fun to do. That and like my podcast setup. My podcast setup is actually semi-legit. I have the same microphones as Joe Rogan. I might even invite Joe Rogan to be on my podcast, like if he wants to. Like I'm sure he probably does. Like I'm waiting for the message any day now. Actually, if Joe Rogan was on my podcast, he probably wouldn't even come on my podcast. He probably wouldn't even talk to me. I'm just a fucking pleb. I personally not into fighting at all. I know a few guys that are into fighting, and it's another thing. Like a coworkers come up to you and ask you about a subject that you know nothing about, and then you say, "Yeah, I don't know," but then continue to tell you about that certain subject. Like for example, soccer or something that nobody watches here in Canada, and that is just super fucked. Like I don't watch soccer. Don't ask me if did you watch the Argentina game? No, I didn't. Another big one is like fighting. Like I was saying with Joe Rogan, he talks about fighting a lot. I have coworkers that talk about fighting way too much. I don't know any fighters. I see sometimes on my phone like clips of like UFC shit. You know, I know Dana White. I can know what he looks like, but I don't know anything about it. And like coworkers talking about stuff you don't know and then continuing to talk about stuff even after you say is probably the most annoying thing. Or telling you a story about what happened at something that involves you, but you remember the situation clearly and that is not what happened. Like they tell another coworker a story about what you did and it's something you didn't do or like not even close to what may have happened. I get that a lot, surprisingly, and it's fucking kind of annoying. So it's like, no, man, that didn't happen. And then they're so sure of what they're saying. They're like, yes, it did. And how do you argue that? It's like, well, I was there. I know what happened. Like, so was I. I saw you do that. Like, but I didn't do that. Like, stop. That and what else? That just really is irritating. Now, you know what? The boys I work with right now are pretty good. You know, we all have our quarrels, like every person at jobs have. Like, but honestly, like I got a pretty deadly group of boys that I work with. Like I would personally suck them off if they asked, and would not question it. We also, speaking of like, it's gonna sound weird, but speaking of like sucking off, like do I want to see what the viewers think? Like, do the viewers at work with their coworkers talk about weird shit like would you rather and stuff like that? As in like, or not really would you rather, but like would you suck a dick, or how much would it cost to suck a dick? Like if someone asked me like, if someone were to pay you money to suck someone's dick, how much money? And then you're like, well, to finish or just put it in your mouth or stuff like that. And then we name prices. Like for me to just put it in my mouth would be like 500,000. It's just, to me, it's revolting. Like I could not, like it has to be 500. To finish is like a few mil, like a cool mil. And then on top of that, and then you start adding to it. Like, well, is it on Facebook Live? Does anyone know about it? Do you know the person? And it just gets kind of more fucked from there. Like the most recent one is like, would you take it in the ass to finish from someone with a huge cock? And then, or like, but nobody knows, and you get like 5 million, and you have to do it weekly for a year, once a week for a year, so 52 times, and every session you get paid 5 million. Would you do that? I said no, because there's no amount of money that would make me feel better about what I just did and being like a straight single man. It's kind of run out of things to talk about. So you start talking about this weird stuff like that, like, and it gets you really thinking, like, am I fucked up? And the answer is yes, but I'm sure even in white collar working situations, people talk about stuff that is similar. Or like, you know, would you take, like, for example, marry one, fuck one, and toss one, and then you name off like your favorite porn stars or something like that, like, just to keep it fresh at the workplace. I don't know. I feel like people do talk about stuff like that. They have to. Because I just can't see a workplace just being like, hi, George, give me the spreadsheets on something. I'm going back to work. No more talking. I don't know. I think something like that definitely happens. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up the episode. Tune in next week. I'll have a new episode next week, whether it's just myself or I'm hoping with a interviewee. We'll see. Hopefully nobody flakes. And yeah, have a good night.